everyone can hear me and see me and ideally see my screen. So I'm going to be sharing with you some slides, really just to keep me on track with what we're going to cover today. And then that way I can ensure that I say everything that I think is most important for me to say. But I can also make sure that I've addressed all of your questions and things that I think are likely to crop up. So ordinarily what we do when we are looking for NLP4Kids franchisees is we invite you to what we refer to as a discovery call. And a discovery call is a process that we take you through so that you learn a little bit about who we are and what we do. We learn a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing. And then providing everybody's happy at the end of that call, we move you through what we refer to as our strategy calls. In this webinar today, it's going to be a combination of what we cover in a discovery call and what we cover in some of the strategy calls, so that for all of you who are here on this webinar, you'll be able to bypass some of these startup steps because you'll have got them covered here, and you'll be in a position to be able to make an informed decision about moving forwards with the NLP4Kids franchise. So here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to do a brief intro to NLP4Kids. I'll take you through what are our suitability questions so that you know if you meet the criteria. Then I'll explain what our selection process looks like. I'll take you through some bits and pieces related to what we do in the strategy calls, and then we'll talk about next steps from there. So here's the brief overview. NLP4Kids was created by me. So my name is Gemma Bailey. I created NLP4Kids back in 2007. We have been licensing NLP4Kids since 2009. So we've got some practitioners who are on their second cycle with us. They've already completed one license contract, and then they've come back for round two. So yeah, some of our practitioners have been with us for well over a decade now. We have trained over 200 individuals in total through our NLP4Kids and our sister company, People Building. Some of you may have heard of People Building already. If you haven't, don't worry, you will get a little introduction this evening. We are an organization that provides NLP trainings. That's Neuro-Linguistic Programming. If you don't know what NLP is yet, it's a talk therapy is the way in which we're utilizing it. A little bit like cognitive behavior therapy, somewhat like counseling because of that talk basis that comes with it. But it's also very proactive. So we're teaching different strategies, techniques, and skills to young people who want to have more control over their thoughts and their emotions, to start doing things that they want to do, stop doing things that they don't want to do any longer. And NLP is used a lot in the areas of communication and relationship building. So we're very much using it from that perspective too. The NLP that we're using has been adapted specifically for children and young people. So if you know NLP already, and I'm sure some of you do, the techniques that you're already familiar with will have been customized in order to be used in NLP4Kids. On the most part, there's a lot of clunky language in NLP, and so we bypass a lot of that to make it comprehensible for children and young people. In addition, for people that go through our training, they have the option to take up a franchise arrangement with us. Sometimes we refer to that as becoming a licensed practitioner. So it means that you're working under license with us. We provide business startup resources and support for those licensed practitioners. That includes ongoing mentoring. There's a few of us within the team that are providing mentoring. And within the sort of mentoring program, you have 12 weeks initially starting up with me, and then I'm available for your client support from that point moving forward. For people that are on what we refer to as our lighter license, they're receiving mentoring from Marie, who's been working with me again for nearly a decade now, and Charlotte, who provides all of our Facebook and Google Ads marketing. She supports the practitioners and runs masterclasses with them around that. We assist children, schools and families in the areas of mental and emotional well-being, and our licensed practitioners receive continual retraining. So they retrain with us every 3 years. Throughout the life of their license, they're retraining with us. And then they also have professional development opportunities, including practice groups, monthly webinars where we look at case studies, and twice a year we get together in real life, in person, and we have all sorts of case studies and extra training that takes place on that day as well. All right, so let me introduce myself. As I mentioned, I am Gemma. I'm the creator of NLP4Kids, and I run all of the NLP4Kids training programs. I mentor those that are on the full license. I'm the safeguarding lead for the organization. And I also run the monthly CPD webinars for all of the team. I have the BPS, that's British Psychological Society Expert Witness Qualification, which means that I'm also the go-to practitioner when we are working with families where there is family courts involved. Typically, that occurs as a result of us working with children where there's been a relationship breakdown between the parents. So that's a time in which we might be sort of supporting court services. Okay, so here are some things that we want to know about you. You don't need to tell me this now, so don't feel the need to dive into the chat box if you are indeed here live at the moment. What we want to know about you before we would proceed with going down the training or licensing process with you are some of the basics. So first of all, where do you live? What do you do at the moment? We need to know that you've gone through all of our literature so that you have a really good foundation understanding around who we are, the kind of work that we do, and that you've checked that this sounds like it's the right fit for you. We also know, when do you want to do this? Because if you came to us 12 months ago, you'd be dealing with a different business model to the one that you're dealing with now. And if you come to us in 12 months' time, it will be a completely different business model all over again. So we always want to speak to you when the time is right. If the time is not right now, that's absolutely fine. But that means, we're going to be saying to you, come back to us when the timing is right. Speaking of timing, you also need to have time on your hands to be able to do this. Most of the people that we work with come to us when they are still in employment, so perhaps they're working full time, but they are looking to transition out of that and to hop on board with NLP4Kids. Prior to doing that, you also need to go through all of your pre-course study. So we sent out an email quite recently about the number of hours that you need to invest into the pre-course study in order to really nail it. You've got some assessments to do before you come onto the training. So it is important that you nail the pre-course study because we want you to pass the assessments before you come onto the live training. So you do need to have time available to be able to work through all of those materials so that you pass your assessments and can make it to the live training as well. You need to have a think about what your budget is when starting up a business like this. So the minimum entry level for NLP4Kids is our silver level training. That comprises of 2 training courses, and that also includes all of your initial franchise fee. So there's no additional franchise fee charges on top of that, and that's £10,000 to get started. If you don't have those funds available just yet, then again, that's absolutely fine. It just means that you need to come back to us when the time is better suited for you. And if you are looking to take out business loans or any of those sorts of things, typically the process around doing that is about 12 weeks. So you just need to keep that in mind because our next round of training will be in August. If you work back from August, then that gives you an idea about when you need to start thinking about making applications for example, the business startup loans through the government, if that was the route that you needed to go down. All right, so we're going to be asking you, what work do you see yourself doing to help children and young people as an NLP4Kids practitioner? Typically, there are 3 areas of work that we do, and there are 3 groups that we're working with. So firstly, we deliver one-to-one sessions. These are therapeutic in nature. It typically takes place when a child or young person has perhaps received some support through statutory services already, or they're on a waiting list and the parents want to speed things up. So then they'll come to see us for one-to-one therapeutic coaching sessions. That's probably the biggest area of work that we do. And it's an area where we can receive work very, very quickly, usually within a couple of weeks of qualifying a practitioner. That's a part of the business that we start up really fast. The other area of work that we're most famous for is working with schools. Working with schools takes more time to develop contracts and contacts within a school. When we're working in schools, we might be delivering one-to-one sessions or workshops. The work that we do with schools is either going to be funded by the school directly through something like pupil premium. Sometimes it's paid for privately by the parents. Sometimes we help schools to access different funding sources, such as through National Lottery. We did an awful lot of that in the past. And sometimes we're working with corporate organizations who are using their social funding to make good in the community, and so they will sponsor us in effect to deliver work to schools. That's happening more and more these days. The third area that we work with, so we've got one-to-ones, schools, and then thirdly is in the community. So sometimes we'll deliver workshops in the community based around timely topics, perhaps such as exam stress, or sometimes it's really specific to that community. So, for example, if there's been a trend of antisocial behavior in your community, or a trend of self-harming taking place in your community, then this is a time when the local community workshops can really be very valuable for your community, but also, there's going to be a lot of interest in you delivering that work. So those are the three areas. The three groups that we work with are children and young people, parents, and teachers. We actually have an additional level of training, which is our parents and teachers training, which is an additional course with 2 certificates associated with that one as well. Many of our practitioners upgrade to the gold level so that they get access to those additional courses, because they really see the value in having those extra skills for working with parents and teachers as well. Our third and final level of training is hypnotherapy for kids. It's a completely different modality to NLP, but it's really valuable from a marketing perspective because lots of people are familiar with NLP, more so perhaps than with hypnotherapy, more so perhaps than with NLP. So a lot of our practitioners later go on to do the hypnotherapy for kids training so that they've got that string to their bow as well. All right. So this is why you need to be familiar with the prospectus. You need to have read the materials that we've sent you, because we're going to be asking you what area of work do you want to do. And it's a good idea for you to at least have some idea carved out. So we're going to say, what stops you from doing this on your own? Because it's entirely possible for you to find an online NLP training course and set yourself up like a practitioner. We would not want to stop you. There are cheaper courses available than ours. We are very, very well aware of that. So then, that kind of lends itself to why would you work with us? And I guess only really you can answer that question. But if I were in your shoes, I'd probably be saying, from the credibility perspective, I think for a lot of people, something that holds them back from achieving this on their own is having all of those marketing pieces behind it. Those guarantees that you're going to be bringing in clients is something that you don't necessarily get if you're working on your own. Knowing that you've got the team support there when it comes to therapeutic challenges might be something that holds you back from doing this on your own. And accountability, for a lot of people, if they were to do this on their own, it would be way slower because they wouldn't have all of our head office team breathing down your neck and saying, when are you going to get things done? We will want to know if you've been successful in business or been self-employed before. This is not a barrier to entry, but it just gives us an idea about if this is an area that you're going to be comfortable in or not. We want to know what you need to earn from this, because it's really important to us that we're taking on people who have a realistic idea about what the numbers could look like, and that they're going to be achievable, that we're going to be able to help you to achieve what you want to get out of it. I will tell you now that you will not be buying a yacht off of your earnings from NLP4Kids. But if you're looking to sit somewhere comfortably between the 2,000 to 6,000 pounds per month mark, then you're in the right place. We're going to ask you where you want to get to with this. Very often people start out providing one-to-one sessions, but they want to go on and do other stuff. They might have some really big project ideas that we'd like to support you with. We need to know that you're reliable and organized, that you show up on time. That's going to be really important to us. If we're referring clients to you, we want to serve. There are clients as well. We want to serve them in the best possible way. And we'll also ask if there's anyone else that's involved in your buying decision. The reason why we want to know that is because when we come to speak to you, perhaps on a Zoom session like this, you might want to invite them along. If they're important in making a decision around whether you do this or not, they should probably be there helping you to decide. Or at the very least, we can be recording the session so that you can forward the recording onto them afterwards and have a chat around, all of the things that came up and what was discussed. All right, so here's how it works. We look for the right people to join our organization. The right people always comes before us making a profit. In the last, I don't know, where are we now? We're in March. So let's say the last 5 months, I've turned away 2 potential sales because I didn't think that the person was going to be the right fit for working with NLP4Kids. So finding the right people is really important to us. The things that are important to us are your skills, but your personality fit is really a really big factor. You need to be a good communicator, someone that would be considered to be honest. By the way, we do reference check you around this stuff. You need to be adaptable, reliable, and you need to be someone who's a good collaborator, because unlike those other trainings that you might do in NLP, where you get to skip off into the sunset and be a lone ranger, you don't get that with us. With us, you're going to be accountable to the rest of the team. You're going to be interacting with the rest of the team, and collaborating on various different group projects that we do together. You will be required to speak to one of our existing team members, so an existing practitioner, not just someone from the head office, because their feedback to us about you all is an extra piece in the puzzle about us making a decision about whether to license with you. And then ultimately the licensing decision is made by the head office team, so our executive team at the office, but ultimately by me. So it's me that you need to be super nice to if this is something that you would like to do. All right, so let's now do a little bit of an exercise together. For those of you who are here live, you can feel free to join in. And I'm just going to be using my iPad here. So give me a second to get this open up. What I want to share with you today is an exercise that I like to deliver. Way back, we used to do the discovery call. It was a live day in London, and it was so stressful driving into London once a month with all of our equipment and all of our manuals to showcase in front of everybody. And I'm so glad in many ways that COVID happened, because it fully put the brakes on that and everything moved to Zoom, and it's just way more convenient. But that was one of the positives to come out of COVID for us. But there was an exercise that I used to do that I think would be really valuable to share with you now. So I'm just going to find a blank page. Let's pop this in the licensee interview section. And I'm going to stop this particular screen share in favor of sharing my iPad with you instead. And sometimes this just takes a second to set up. So we need to go via AirPlay, like so. Let's pull this one down, and then we need, that's the Mac. Yes, it is. Hang on. Let me just check I'm on the correct Wi-Fi network, which I'm not. And that always helps when I am. Let me switch that one off and find the one that you're all on here, which is this one. So you're going to be able to see my iPad screen with any luck. There we go, zoom. And I'm going to draw something out for you that I used to do on the flip chart that I'd have there. No, not that app, we want that one. GoodNotes is a really useful app. That's the screen that you're staring at right now. This is something that I use for storing all my client notes because the app is actually lockable as well as the iPad being lockable. Plus you can keep PDF templates on there. So the templates of like my consent forms, my evaluation sheets, everything I've got on this iPad. So I find this really valuable to use. Right, let me draw this out for you. So this is how it works. We're going to create a grid like this. And what we're going to weigh up today is what is the cost, not financial cost, but I'm talking about the cost to society. If we were to take action or no action in respect of offering children and young people mental and emotional well-being support in our communities. So I'm going to pose a statement. Let's say, oh, false. I'm going to pose a statement to you that's going to help us to study the ecology, so the consequences of whether we do something about these mental health issues or do more versus whether we don't. Now, it's really interesting to do this exercise these days because once upon a time when I was doing this exercise pre-COVID in these hotel rooms in London once a month, it was almost a little bit like, well, maybe there's a mental health crisis, but maybe there isn't. I think we all know that there is by now. If anyone's not sold on that idea, you're probably on the wrong webinar. But here's how this works. So let's say that we've got the option to do more within our communities, within society, and for us as individuals who are contemplating becoming practitioners, doing something like this or whatever else you might be contemplating. Let's say that you have the opportunity to take action because it is true that mental health issues in young people are increasing. In this first box, so let's call this box 1, we're saying it is both true that these issues are increasing, but we're going to take action and we're going to do something about it. We're going to get the training. We're going to be proactive in our communities. We are going to, do our very best to make a difference. We're going to be speaking to schools. We're going to be filling the gap that, quite frankly, statutory services just hasn't got the legroom to be able to fulfill anymore. Once upon a time, when we first got started, I remember saying, this is who we are, this is what we do, but we don't work with children who have ADHD, for example. And now that's probably about 60% of the children that we work with because there's more diagnosis and more of these young people are coming in our direction because the statutory services aren't providing the support that they ideally would receive. What's this saying? Time pressure. Fair enough. Amu, thank you for your honesty. All right, so here's what we do then. Let's have a look at action. We take action. It's true, there's a problem, but we're going to do something about it. What's going to be the impact of that on young people themselves? What's going to be the impact of that on families? And what will that do in the community? Feel free to throw some ideas in the chat if you feel like you can answer this particular question. So I'll get us started and say, right, it's true, there's a problem. The problem is increasing, but we're going to take action. We're going to do something about it. If we do take that action, then what we're going to see is that, here's a good one. More resilience. resilience in young people that we need, right? We need more resilience in young people. If we take action, even though there is a growing problem, what else might happen? We might see that there is more, I guess, sort of, it's probably a less rather than a more, less family breakdowns, less challenges within families. So let's say less family breakdown. We might see less antisocial behavior in the community. Probably less spending on like the longer term health services. The reason why I say longer term health services is because these mild to moderate issues that they start out with, anxiety in particular, is one where if you treat it early and you teach them skills early on, you can kind of stop it in its tracks, and then they've got skills for life. But if you don't, the majority of those young people who have unaddressed anxiety will go on to develop more severe mental health challenges later in life. So that is something that, is definitely going to cost more in the long run on the health services. Is there any other stuff? So more resilience, less family breakdown, less antisocial behavior in the community, less money spent on health services, probably like better long-term relationships in young people, because they're going to have better social skills. That's something that we're seeing is really lacking at the moment. And we've got a lot of school refusal still happening post-COVID, which goes back to the resiliency stuff. So as a result of taking action, assuming there's a problem that's getting worse, actually, we still, if we've taken action, would be able to see better academic attainment. Really important. Okay, nice. So let's say that it's true, there are these issues, the issues are increasing, but we don't take any action. Now what have we got? Well, our young people are certainly not going to become more resilient as a result of nothing happening. So it might be that our young people either they still have low resilience, if not worse. Resilience. I've forgotten how to spell resilience in young people. Probably a lot of opposites to what we've got in the other quadrant, right? In quadrant 1. If we do nothing, we're certainly not going to have less family breakdown. In fact, we might have more. So we might increase family breakdown if we do nothing, because this kind of stuff puts such pressure on people. We might see an increase in antisocial behavior in the community. We know, we've already said, that we're going to see an increase spending in long-term health services if we don't deal with stuff at the outset. We're likely to see that there are continuing issues around social development in these young people. So low on the social development, which is going to have a negative effect on relationships in the long run. And we're likely to see that their academic attainment, if they're not attending school, for example, is on the low side. It's not doing what we wanted them to do. All right, so let's go quadrant 3. Let's pop that one over here. So now we're saying that Gemma got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong. all of the statisticians that are studying what's happening in children's mental health these days, we all got it wrong. Mental health issues in children and young people are not increasing. There was nothing to worry about. We got it wrong. But we've gone and taken action. Now we've put more practitioners in the community who are helping children and families. We're doing stuff in schools. We're providing all of this resilience, and it was never going to get any worse. It was just going to stay exactly as it is. Now, what are the effects? What's the effects of us taking action when actually the problem wasn't going to get worse as was predicted? Well, we've still got a good handful of young people who are not in the right place, like way too many, who are still mentally and emotionally not in the right place at the moment. So actually, we'd probably still see increases in things like resilience and confidence and self-esteem, and all of those other sorts of emotional well-being type foundations that you need in life. So we're still going to have good effect because we're still going to be teaching them this stuff. Would it still be good for families? Well, probably, because we've still got the problems that we've got right now, which is saying that things are not going to increase as predicted. So we would still perhaps see like happier, healthier families as a result of doing something rather than nothing. All right, so that's still a good, that's still a win. We would perhaps still see better community cohesion. We would be providing skills that are important from a social rapport building communication basis, meaning that we're still going to be building positive relationships and social networks between these young people that are offline rather than online. And we might, as a result of all of that, see that actually education and academic attainment continues to get better, even though we didn't need to do the work, arguably. All right, so now we've got the final quadrant. Let's pick a different color. This is quadrant 4. So here's what we're saying in this one. We're saying that we got it wrong. There was not going to be any increase in mental health issues over the next few years, but we didn't take any action anyway. So what does that mean? Everything stays the same? Because we're kind of left with what we've got already. But here's the thing, does it? If we do nothing and things don't get any worse, does it really stay the same? Because here's the thing, these young people that we've got who are struggling right now are going to grow up. And I've noticed a trend. They tend to breed. And the young people that are young people right now will go on to become parents. And those parents will have one or multiple children. And those issues that those parents who are currently children are carrying will be passed down the chain. They'll be passed down the family tree. So even though, let's, just for argument's sake, say that right now there's only 50 young people who have got mental health issues, those 50 young people might go on to have 100 children that they pass their mental health challenges on to, who then go on to grow up and become 200 people that they pass their mental health challenges on to. So even if we do nothing and everything stays the same right now, over time, the problem will propagate. And it will continue to increase and grow. All right, so I hope that makes sense to everyone so far. Because here's the thing with this, if you look at it, if you actually look at what we've ended up with here, we can't do anything about whether it's true or not true that mental health issues are going to increase in children and young people, because we can't actually, we can kind of make a very good educated guess, but we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. We could have aliens that land on the planet tomorrow, and that would be a total game changer. We'd all be worried about something way bigger than all of the stuff that we're currently worried about. So we don't know for certain. We can't predict the future to say whether it's 100% going to be true that the issues keep on increasing at the rate and speed that they have been over the last few years. But what we can decide is whether we take action or whether we don't. So we can't decide whether we choose between the true row or the false row, but we can choose whether we work with the action column or whether we want to take the inaction column. And if you look at the difference between the action column and the inaction column, this is the world that I would rather be living in. It is better to do something than do nothing. And that's why I'm sharing this webinar with you today. It's not to sell you an NLP4Kids franchise. It's not to sell you NLP4Kids training. It's to have you buy into the concept that this work is important, it is urgent, and we need you. All right, let me stop sharing there, and I will move on to my next slide. How am I doing for time? Okay, so let's hop in here and go back to this one, screen share, webinar. There we are. Perfect. All right, so let me talk you through a little bit more about NLP4Kids that you might not know already. So we put mental health on the high street in 2014. The picture there on the right hand side is our office, which is based here in Hemel Hempstead, and it is literally on the high street. So we've actually got an Indian restaurant on one side, and on the other side is a double glazing place. And then who else is in our row? We have an estate agents, we have a hairdressers. Actually, there's two hairdressers. We're very keen on hair in Hemel Hempstead. There's quite a lot of hairdressers around. And yeah, so we're kind of in amongst it. And that means that every now and again, someone will be walking past, and in this picture you can see we've got the we didn't have the double glazing yet. It was just the single glazing, which meant that people could see in and we could see out. Now we've got frosted windows, so we can't see quite so well when we're looking outside anymore. But it used to be that you would see somebody sort of walk past the window like this, and you'd see them sort of reading what it is that we do, because we've got the text there on the window, and they'd go all the way past, and then you'd watch them walk backwards and they'd come back and read it again and then pop in to ask us more about who we are and what we do. So I have clients that I have literally picked up off of the street because they've seen us here, and the branding has pulled them in. We've also won a couple of awards, one of which is an award for technology for our online practitioners forum facility, which I will show you today because it's a really important part of your pre-course study, and it ties in from a support perspective for those of you that go on to franchise on the other side. We've got our own book, which is available on Amazon. So this is called Stop Anxiety and Grow Confidence. It's a collection of case studies and the theory around how we helped in those cases, and what techniques and strategies we use, and really it really helps to get you into the sorts of attitude and mindset that goes with NLP4Kids. We have got scientifically validated data to prove that this stuff works. So 2 years ago, we took part in a university-led study with one of the top UK private universities, one of the top 10 UK private universities, BPP, with our ethics being overseen by the British Psychological Society. We were specifically looking at our Overcome Anxiety program, which is a 10-week program that we offer to schools. We have 9 different ones, so this is just one of them. And we had previously piloted a study with Our Healthy Future, which is an organization that helps alternative modalities to prove the value of their work. Using scientifically validated studies, and this was in conjunction with Alder Hey Children's Hospital. So we did the pilot study years and years ago. The program was delivered live, and then going back a few years when we did the university-led study, this time around it was delivered online because it was just after COVID, and it made sense to sort of slot into that way of working, but also because one of the challenges with studying this kind of work is you need it to be replicatable. I don't know if I'm saying that word in the right way. Replicable? You know what I mean. You need to be able to replicate it, right? And it might be that, you know, if I deliver the program really enthusiastically, that has a better impact than if someone else delivers it unenthusiastically. So I wanted to create something that would be replicated the world over and still be able to achieve the same results. So having it in video format, pre-recorded videos, was a really effective way to be able to do that. We used a study or a measure, rather, a scientific measure called the Revised Children's Anxiety and Depression Scale, which is a scientifically validated measure. We had a control group in place, so we had a group who did not get access to the program but still had their anxiety levels measured at the start and at 10 weeks later. And then we had a group that actually went through the program. And what we discovered at the end of it was that the program did deliver significant results. So scientifically significant results in the domains of reducing anxiety, but also depression, which we wasn't aiming for. So we got some really nice, clear, compelling data out of that. And because the cohorts were quite large, so we had 25 in each group, it means that the results can be generalized across a larger population. So across the general population, we would see the same results coming from this program. Knowing that we have this is really valuable for our practitioners, because when they're speaking to schools, when they're speaking to decision makers, they can say, actually, we can prove that this works. We can prove it in science, which is super important. And we've collaborated with some pretty major organizations over the years. So Action for Children, Lloyd's TSB, we've worked with their education team. So they provide the banking for schools. So they've done promotion for us in the past. YMCA, Association of Indoor Play, we worked with last year. Parent Pay is a bit like PayPal for schools. Some of you will have heard of that before. Savills is a landowner who is currently funding or partnering us with funders to work with a couple of schools in Islington. We've completed 2 schools for an academic year each, which was a £20,000 contract for the practitioner that delivered the work. Next month, fingers crossed, we are looking to work with them again and to deliver a further 2 programs for 2 schools, meaning that they have a practitioner with them with each of those schools for an academic year. All right, so how does it all begin? Where do we start? So you get access to a physical, big, meaty manual, which we send out to you by recorded delivery. It contains a USB as well as paper stuff. You get a USB which has audio and video content. The videos are of the live training that you're going to attend, workshops with children, and of a one-to-one case study with a child as well. You'll also get videos of our recent training in our online training platform, which is where your assessments are built in. Then you attend our live online training once 70% of your assessments are completed. The next opportunity to attend training with us will be in August. There are no additional charges for your assessment marking, certification, or the 3 months membership to the Association of ANLP, so the Association of NLP, that we provide you with after your training. So why would you want to work with us? Well, we are a reputable company. We've been around for a while, as you can see, since 2007. And we do prepare you for the real world application of delivering these skills. There's a really big difference to being in the classroom environment and learning this stuff compared to real life. And the good news is that I still work with clients in real life every week, even this week. So I can tell you real life stories about how this stuff works and the kind of results that you'll be getting, which also means that every single training that I run is ever so slightly different because I'm coming with different stories every time. As a licensee, you will gain all the required knowledge about websites, Facebook, and Google Ads, because we provide you with training and mentoring around that. You will absolutely not be working in isolation. You will have ongoing development opportunities with us, and you will also be attending in-person get-togethers, should you choose to. We hope you do, which we refer to as our open house events, where we provide you with other bits of learning and personal development. We have our live CPD webinars. These take place on the second Monday of every month at 7:30. Those are live online. Typically, it's a case study that we look at. And then you attend free retraining with us every 3 years so that you can help me vet the new practitioners and also realize how much you've learned in that time as well. Plus, you get all of your branded business resources, which include your website, email address, business cards, polo shirts, blah, 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 blah. All of that jazz. Everything is sorted for you. You get your themed monthly marketing kits. So this is so that you don't have to do any social media creation. Everything is done. You get reels, memes, and articles to use. You've got 24-hour day, 7-day a week access to the NLP4Kids WhatsApp support groups. We've got a few different groups. One is for general chit chat. One is about case studies. One is about marketing. So there's different ones for different things. We also do all of the building and scaling of your marketing campaigns with you using Google, Facebook, and emailing stuff. You get mentoring with our experts. So me, I mentor those on the full license. We do an initial 12 weeks of really intensive business building stuff. And then once a month for whatever catch-ups you might need at that stage. Typically by then, it's less about business. It's more about client challenges. Marie works with all of our lighter license practitioners, and she'll also be checking in on your website and giving you pointers and tips and things that you might need to change or adjust in there. And Charlotte works with all of the marketing around Facebook and Google Ads, and she runs a monthly masterclass for people who want to learn more about that stuff as well. All right, so I'm going to actually show you these platforms in real life in just a second. But let me give you a bit of an overview first. So I mentioned there you get kind of website-based stuff. So you get a profile page on the main NLP4Kids website. But separate to that, you get your own NLP4Kids website that is yours to log into. It's typically named something around your location and what you do. So an example here is Child Therapy Isle of Man. As I mentioned, WhatsApp support. I'm hoping you can all see this on big enough screens, but this is some screenshots from the WhatsApp group because I said to them, why haven't you left? Because so many of them are in their sort of next cycle of licensing with us. And I was like, one of the things I get asked when I do these discovery calls is, You know, what happens at the end of my 3 years or at the end of my 5 years, depending which contract you choose? Can I just go off and do it on my own? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can, but they don't. They stay. So then I was getting asked, why do they stay? You know, they've kind of got everything they need from you already. They could just go off and set up on their own. So I asked the question, why are you still here? And I'm just going to read what they've said in case you can't see it. So Paula said, here's my brain dump. Forum resources are gold dust. Templates, community, peer support, continuous improvement, belonging, opportunities, contribution, benefit from nationwide marketing campaigns. Oh, and I'd like to add that it's important and exciting to keep expanding skills. Mary said, belonging to a team, community, benefiting from each other's experiences, sharing learning, asking questions, reassurance when not sure. Also belonging to an organization for clients who come through NLP website or referred by the office is for them more trustworthy than coming from an individual. Amber said, the biggest thing for me is the huge wealth of knowledge and willingness to support each other. Working on your own can be hard, so having each other is vital. Also, safeguarding questions and a bit of protection. I remember a safeguarding situation with a family of lawyers that I was worried about. I called you a couple of times, Gemma, for advice, which was invaluable. It would be hard without the support. Stuart said, superb support from a team of experts who believe who between us have probably seen it and done it and at least know where to get it. Leadership by example, on tap templates for business, and marketing that have been used and worked, monthly topics for CPD and much more. And everyone else just said what they said. So yeah, that's why, if you're wondering. So bottom row we've got here are training platforms. I'm going to show you these in real life now so that you have got a better idea of exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So give me 1 second and I'm going to hop over here. And now you should be able to see my Chrome login. So first off, the very first thing that you will do is your NLP4Kids training, regardless of which level of training you buy. Very often, this is the place that you will start. The only time that you might do something else first is if you were taking up training in the first half of the year, which is February and March. And then you would do the NLP practitioner course, followed by the NLP4Kids course. If you're looking at August, it will be this one here, okay? NLP4Kids silver level training. You come into the platform and it will, so if we just hop into one of these modules, your modules are split up into the days of training that you're actually going to attend. You've got some bump in here to read, and then you come down to the bottom and you've got a video to watch. Once you've worked through that module, you go to the next step, which in this case is going to be an assessment. Your assessment might be multiple choice questions, which this one is. It might be long form questions. Or it might even be you need to send us in a video of something. So some of these modules are maybe 20 minutes to watch the video with 5 minutes to complete the assessment. Some of them are an hour and 20-minute videos and your assessment is going to take 30 minutes to do. So they're all slightly different time frames. You don't have to do them in order and sequence, but you just need to make sure that you squeeze it all into your life before you come onto the live training. So if I take a step back here, you can see you've got day 1 here. This is everything that we cover on the first day of training. Then if I hop out of there and go to the categories, then you can see we've got day 2 here. That correlates with day 2 of your training, etc., etc. That means that when you come to live training, the live training is from 2 till 6 p.m. UK time. You've got the morning session to come in and recap your videos and to redo any assessments that did not get marked correctly, or to do any that are outstanding that you still need to finish off. All right, so you've got 9 till 1 in the morning to come back into this platform and refresh. From 2 till 6, you'll be live online with me. And my expectation for those afternoon sessions is that we're going straight into breakout groups and you're going to be practicing with the other people that are on the training course. By practice, I mean you're going to play at being a practitioner. You're going to experience the techniques as if you were a client, a young person. And sometimes you'll also get to observe if we've got a multiple of 3 in the group. Then you swap and you fulfill the other role. So if you've acted as a practitioner, you then act as a client. If you're acting as a client, you're now going to act as a practitioner, so that you get to see it from both angles. But you need to be coming into those afternoon sessions ready to practice. You're not coming to the afternoon sessions for me to do demonstrations for you, because all of that has taken place in your pre-course study. This is where you get your demos and the content that's in your manual and on your USB stick as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to ping anything in the chat group, by the way, for those of you that are here live. If there is anything you need to ask that's not quite clear, feel free to do so. All right. So you've done NLP for Kids in August. Now you're going to be moving on to the practitioner course in September. So this is delivered by my other company, which is also a franchise, called People Building. People Building is an older company than NLP for Kids. It's been around for longer. It provides standard grown-up NLP training, and we also run a hypnotherapy diploma course as well. There are some people who do training with People Building. They just do that because the practitioner course is cheaper. It's £5,000. They just want to be a practitioner and they take that off and do their own thing with it. There are some that do that course and then go on to become a franchisee with People Building, which means that they're going to be using their skills with adults. All right. People Building is not children specific. It's grown up NLP training, but we gift you this £5,000 course as part of your NLP for Kids package, because this is like the gold standard of NLP. This is like an industry standard level training. So we want you to get access to this one as well. So your training in here, this one is a 7-day course. This one starts on a Saturday, it finishes on a Friday. And again, it correlates with the breakdown of your modules in here. And the format is exactly the same. You're going to come in, you're going to watch a video, read some stuff in your manuals, and then you'll go on to the next step of completing the assessment. Your training day for this is from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m., meaning from 9 till 1, you'll be coming back into the platform, refreshing and scrubbing up on your skills, because from 2 till 6, you'll be expected to be in the training room with me, actually putting this stuff into practice and delivering sessions in that client practitioner format. All right, so the third and final thing that I want to show you in this platform is our licensee area. If you go on to become a licensed practitioner with NLP4Kids, you will gain access to this licensed practitioner area. So in here, there is everything that you need as a new practitioner for setting yourself up, including setting up your NLP4Kids branded email address, planning out your website. All of our marketing strategies are in here. You have got access to, what else have I mentioned to you already today? I've told you that we do all your social media creation for you. So let me show you some of that stuff. I think it's in here. Let me see. Yes, here you go, monthly marketing kits. So there is, within these marketing kits, there's a kit for every single month of that year and for every single day of that month. So typically sort of 30 posts per month. They're each themed around different things. So we've got like one in here where I can see school anxiety. We've got in this one. So every single month is a different topic. You download the folder here and it's got memes, reels, articles, and in the really old ones, we've got posters as well. And these go way back, like they go back to, when did we start doing these? 2015 maybe? let's see. Yeah, right all the way back to 2015. You don't have to use this year's ones. If you like the topics that are in a previous year, you can use those. So there's a lot of content in there. You've also got all of our previous CPD sessions, all of the mentoring that I deliver. There are videos of that in here as well. So if you are on the lighter license, you can take yourself through the mentoring process that I deliver by following my videos. All of Charlotte's masterclasses around Google ads, etc. Those are all in here too. We've got sections around how we get funding for working with schools. We've got all the stuff in here about our research, and we've also got documents and bits and pieces in here related to safeguarding. All right, so a couple of other bits for you to see in here. This is the main NLP4Kids website. This one should be familiar to you. If we hop over to the one-to-one sessions section, then you'll see that all of our licensed practitioners who have all of their documentation up to scratch right now, meaning their DBS is alive and well and they've got their insurance and all of that jazz, their profiles are listed in here. As a licensed practitioner, you'll also have a profile listed in here. The ordering sequence changes, so when people view the website, it's not always the same person at the top. Was I at the top today? No, I'm second today. That's fine. So if we came back in 10 minutes, we'd see that the ordering sequence is different. You'll also have your very own WordPress website that we set up for you, so you can see the theme obviously looks very similar to the main website, but you get to add pages in, take pages out, decide what the content's going to be with a little bit of supervision from us. It has an inbuilt blog already. We've got inbuilt data capture forms. So all of this is built for you. You just need to generate the content so that, you know, it talks about you and who you are and what you want to do. All right, so let me hop back into my slides. Once again, if there's any questions, feel free to shout. Okay, so I've shown you all of this stuff. Yes, I have. That's all good. So other brands that you may either know of or have heard of or don't know, so I'm going to introduce you right now, that relate to NLP4Kids include the following. We sometimes use the NLP4Students logo if we're working with older young people, but we use exactly the same techniques and strategies even if we're working with older young people. We just deliver it in a slightly different way. Again, typically it's the language that might be slightly different. We've got NLP4Teens. We sometimes use that. Depends on the demographic. Are they going to be students or are they going to be teenagers? We've got the NLP4Parents and teachers logos there at the bottom. Excuse me. And Hypnotherapy4Kids is the sort of additional training that lots of our practitioners go on to do to add to their skill set using that hypnotherapy modality. We also have our Parents and Professionals membership. So this is a different online platform specifically for parents and professionals who want to do some personal development, and our practitioners are able to sell this membership and to as affiliates so that they receive a monthly income from promoting this membership for us as well. So you get access to all of these different brands and affiliated products, assuming that you've done the sort of levels of training that relate to those. Okay, now this next slide works fast. I can speak fast, but I can't speak as fast as this slide works. So I'm going to do my best to keep up and explain what it's showing you. But basically, what this is going to show you is the process that we use for starting to bring in your one-to-one clients. And we've got a very slick system. We've replicated it. We've used it time and again. It just requires a few tweaks for different geographical areas or different demographics that we're working with. Once we've found what works in the system and we've provided you with the initial leads to get your business started, we hand over the reins to you. That way you can decide if you want to ramp it up so you've got more clients coming in, or if you want to turn the tap off a little bit and have a breather so that you have a fewer number of clients coming in. You can have us keep running it for you. You can work with Charlotte directly on this and have a separate arrangement with her, or you can just have us teach you how we did it, and then you can run the whole thing yourself. It's entirely up to you. It's not something you have to decide right away. You'll be probably at least 3 months into your license agreement before we're coming to you and saying, okay, we've got the data, we know what's working in your geographical area, we know how much it's costing to run this advertising. How do you want to keep it moving forward from here? So this is how it works. First, we conduct market research into your geographical area or the one that you want to target. We consider the population size and the house prices to help us target the best area for us to be promoting in. We use tried and tested marketing funnels. We're running adverts that generate leads. And then we contact and screen the leads that we receive. Those leads are typically going to be parents, right? We've got specific telephone scripts and voicemail scripts and various templates for emails and text messages that we use to book the client directly into your calendar to have a consultation session with you. So when we get you set up as a practitioner, you're also going to have your You Can Book Me calendar, which we help you to set up, and we have access to it so we can book people straight into the calendar for you. We then provide mentoring, telephone scripts, voicemail scripts, templated emails and text so that you can introduce yourself to the client. So you start to take over a little bit at this stage because you're going to be the one working with them. So you're going to reach out and say hello. Then we provide your consultation session format, the questions that you need to ask. Obviously, from your training, you've got all of the processes that you might want to deliver. And we also provide you with an evaluation process as well. You'll have testimonial templates to use and to follow. So then you're going to meet with the client and you're going to start doing your practitioner bit. Meanwhile, so whilst we're doing all of that setup stuff to get the clients coming through the door, you're going to be busy building your website, using our social media kits that I've just showed you, and duplicating this marketing process, ready to take it over and run it for yourself. Crucially, throughout this process, you're going to learn how to develop your social media presence, get testimonials, increase the word of mouth flow. We're going to talk to you about blogging, networking, using business directories, how to niche and specialize in a particular subject area related to NLP4Kids. So although NLP4Kids is a niche within NLP, it's really useful if you've got a particular focus like dealing with sleep problems or selective mutism or anxiety. Anxiety is quite a big one. I'd probably niche it a little further down than that. And these things, doing all of these things and doing them in the order and sequence that we tell you to do them, is going to help you to develop expert standout from the crowd status, so that if someone is choosing between you and a local counsellor who is half your price, they'll still choose you because you'll be the one that gives them that comfort and credibility that that they're looking for. All right, so next, I'm assuming there's no question. I can't see any questions. Okay. Let me talk to you about the profit planner. This is something that we usually do in strategy call number 2. We do have a kind of tutorial around this, that if you don't attend strategy 2, you can still do this at home with a video of me talking you through how to do it and all of the resources you need for this. Essentially what it is an Excel spreadsheet which has some averages around what we charge. Actually, what we charge is below average, but that's fine. We were just trying to play safe. Averages on our costs, averages on the number of clients you might see, and so on. And it allows you to have a play with the areas of work that you want to do, the number of hours that you want to work, and the kind of charges that you want to charge, so that you can see what your monthly income could look like. So when you come to do this, you're only going to consider the areas of work that you would realistically do. If, for example, you're allergic to the idea of working with teachers, many people are, Although they're lovely, many people are not, feeling confident about doing that straight away. If it's an area of work that you're not going to do, you're not going to include it in your profit planning because it's just going to skew your numbers. So you're only going to look at the areas of work that you're actually going to go off and do. You're going to consider how many hours you will be working based on the number of sessions you plan to deliver. I would always add an extra 30 minutes on for your one-to-one sessions because sometimes they arrive early. You might want to plan what you're going to do in the session that day. Sometimes at the end of the session, they'll talk. And so that will use up a bit of time, but you're also going to be evaluating. So, you do lose a little bit of extra time, even though it's a 1 hour session. Class it as an hour and a half in your own mind. Except that it might take a few months to make a profit. Okay, so typically you're starting to look at getting into the profit making zone around month 3. Most businesses take years to get to a stage where they're making a profit. It used to be for new small businesses, it was like 2 years to make a profit. Now it's 3 years to make a profit in most new small businesses. Franchising speeds that up infinitely faster. So we're talking 3 months instead of 3 years for you to get into the profit making zone. Consider your license fees in the costs. We have not got these programmed into our Excel spreadsheet because we don't know whether you're taking the full license or the lighter one. So you need to do that maths for yourself. You do need to think about leveraging your income. Sometimes you can get more coming in by putting your fees up. Sometimes you'll get more coming in as a result of doing group sessions instead of one-to-ones. All right, so that's perhaps a better time for money exchange at times. You can also leverage your income by doing NLP for parents, NLP for teachers, and hypnotherapy for kids. If you do parents and teachers, you'll be offering one-to-one sessions, group sessions, online sessions for, webinars for parents and professionals. You've seen me doing those before. So it's an excellent way to bring some extra income in. Hypnotherapy for kids works really well because people are more familiar with hypnotherapy than they are with NLP. So if you're able to advertise yourself as a hypnotherapist for children, you're going to increase the number of inquiries that come to you. Think about how many years you're going to be doing this stuff for, and then calculate your return on investment for your overall career to make sure that it's something that feels like a good investment of your time over time, not just from a financial perspective, but just, dedicating your life to this, because it is the kind of work which it isn't just about the money. It's just not. I mean, we make good money and we're happy, but it's just not about that. You get paid in other ways. You get paid with like a legal high from the sessions that you deliver. I particularly like one-to-one work. I think you get to really get your teeth in and you get to really see the difference that you make. And like money can't buy that. It's a really special thing. All right, so let me give you a sneaky preview of the Profit Planner. And let me see, where is it? And I'll also, whilst that's loading up, let me also share with you, where is my Evernote? There we go. This here is, so we track what the practitioners are earning from 1 month to the next. And if their earnings drop below £1,000, they get a phone call from me to ask what on earth is going on. We've asked them recently to clarify what they mean by part-time and full-time, because part-time for some people is 2 hours and for others it's 25. So we need to, I appreciate we need to define this a little bit better. But you can see some names here. Feel free to validate this with any of the people whose names you can see here on the screen. And we haven't got February's figures in yet because they'll come in at the end of March because we're always reflecting on the previous month. But yeah, you can see like Jo here, she's up in Newcastle, £4,800. Emma is part-time. She's just under £2,000. Ian didn't have such a good January by the looks of it, but did like way better in November. Paula, full time, just over the £2,000 mark. Chloe and Louisa, they're both on it, right? Like they're on fire, these two at the moment. And Joe's really good. She's doing really well. These are good people for you to speak to. We know who's got the business plans, right? We can see who's actually like really focusing on their businesses and doing the right stuff. But yeah, I mean, overall, for like part-time hours to be earning £2,000 a month is still, in my opinion, not too shabby. Michelle, whose website I showed you a bit earlier, had a really good July last year. I'm taking some of the credit for that one. I set that contract up, by the way. So yeah, you get the idea, right? Anyway, that's not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be sharing with you the profit planner. So let me just find that. Let me get it downloaded and open it up. So this is what you're going to see when you have a little play with this document. Let me just see, is it opened yet? Documents, no. Here we go. Okay. Let me say, yes, we're enjoying Excel, but we don't want to talk to you about it right now. I'm just going to zoom in. Maybe not that much. All right. What I'll do is I'll just give you like a really brief idea on this so that you can see how it works. So first of all, you've got 4 tabs across the bottom here. So you can fill out all of this stuff for yourself. This one I will show you here today. Then you've got marketing plans and you've got weekly plans that you can do as well. But this is the one that I'm most interested in for you because I want to see it and see how, the next few years are going to look for you. So it obviously moves forward in time. We'll start with months 1 to 3 post-training. If there's ever an area of work that you're not going to do, you need to zero out the costs because it's not going to cost you anything if you're not doing it. So you don't want to screw your numbers up. And I'm going to say in your first 3 months after doing training with us, you will not be doing any community workshops. You are not going to be doing any parent work or teachers or teacher coaching programs or working with charities, but we're going to be getting you in some one-to-one sessions anyway. So you're definitely going to be doing this. Our goal is to get you at least 5 client consultations within the first 3 months of training with us. If we fail at this, we will give you your full £10,000 back and we will continue to support you for the next 3 months without any additional fees. So we're good at this. We know what we're talking about. We don't make this promise lightly because giving people back £10,000 would be really painful and we've never had to do it. Anyways, right, one-to-one sessions with the young people. Let's say that you get 3 coming in. They're going to come for 1 session a week. You're charging £75 a session. We've got some costs associated with that. So here are the costs that we've suggested. Of those, you might work with one of the parents out of the 3, even if you've not done parents and teachers training. When you've got 3 clients coming, I can trust you. I can promise you rather that there's going to be one of those parents that needs some of your help. So are you going to do any schoolwork in your first 3 months? Probably not. So we'll take all of those out. No after school clubs. And let's say you're not going to do any webinars just yet either. All right. So in your first month, you have made a profit of £240. Which if you're on the lighter license, you've covered your license fees. If you are on the full license, you will have made a small loss based on that. You've done, let's say that's 4 hours of work plus the extras. So call it 6 hours of work per week in order to achieve this. So let's move on to the following month and see if we can make it a bit better. I'm still going to go on the side of caution and say, you're not going to do any kids workshops or teachers or any one-to-one sessions with young people. Now, by month 4, as well as our marketing, you will have started the churn as well. You'll be doing some stuff too. So I'm going to put you up to 5 clients now. You've also got braver and you've put your fees up a little bit, so that's good. You took my advice. Well done. Let's say that you've got 2 parents coming for sessions now. There. I'm not going to put you in school just yet. No after school clubs. And as much as I'd like you to start doing some webinars, I'm going to say no, not just yet. All right, so now you're making just shy of £2,000 a month. We take off your license fees. So let's call it 1,400 if you're on the full license and you're only into month 4. You get the idea, right? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, where do practitioners carry out their work? Do they rent spaces? Good question, Liz. It's varied. So years gone by, it was really important that we had workspaces. Now we have some of our practitioners who are 100% online. So they're just Zoom. Ian, for example, I showed you some of his stats just now, only offers Zoom sessions. Most people do a bit of both. So both Zoom and face-to-face real life stuff. Most practitioners have some kind of workspace, but it's not necessarily as extravagant as buying a building on the high street like I did. Usually there's a therapy center, a clinic, a serviced office, you know, somewhere that has a room that they can rent on an ad hoc basis that works well for them. There are a handful who work from home, and, you know, they've maybe got just the kind of property where there's a side entrance to a room, or one of those, you know, it is kind of fashionable now for people to have a sort of like really nice, not a shed, shed's the wrong word, like a really nice outbuilding at the bottom of the garden. So a few people are working in that way. So yeah, I'd say maybe about a third are working from home, but having clients coming to their houses. About a third have got serviced offices that they're using. And then we've got a handful that are online only, but mostly they're a little bit of everything, a little bit of both. So yeah, good question. Okay, so that is our profit planner. All right, you just have to reach out to me. If you want to have a play with this by yourself, you can. We will send you the resources to be able to do it. If you want to do it with me, then that's absolutely fine. If I do it with you, I'll still send you a blank copy afterwards so that you can kind of, you know, sleep on it and tweak it, because you'll want to make some adjustments even to what I might have suggested. Okay, let me see what I have not yet covered with you. Guarantee we've talked about a little bit, but I'll just reiterate it now because it is super important. We will ensure that you have at least 5 client consultations booked in within 3 months of starting to trade in your business, or we will refund your entire training fee in full and provide you with a further 3 months additional business support at no extra cost. So when we just played with the profit planner, we said in those first 3 months, only 3 clients came through. That's because when we do our consultations, we typically do those for free. All right. Certainly in the beginning, we encourage all the practitioners to offer a free consultation to get started for a few reasons. Number one, it's easier for us to market a free consultation than the paid for one. You know, people don't typically like buying a service from someone they haven't met yet. So they want to meet you first and do the consultation session with you. So there's that. Secondly, you want to meet them before you decide that you're definitely going to be working with them for the next, 5, 6, 8 weeks. Typically, we work with clients anywhere between 2 and 8 sessions. On average, it's about 5. So my average is about 5. New practitioners might average more towards 8 to 10 because you're still getting used to using the strategies and, you haven't necessarily got all the shortcuts in place just yet. The better you become as a practitioner, the quicker your clients will turn around, because you're more confident, but you're more competent as well. So, and that's why it's important to put your prices up, because as you get more competent, you'll see your clients for fewer sessions. You don't want to have a dip in your income because of that. You want your competency to equate to your fees increasing, because you're going to help them in a faster period of time. So yeah, your five initial clients will be coming for consultation sessions. We're going to make sure that you've got everything you need to transform those into paid for sessions. All right, we want to make sure that you're starting to see these people and making some money. All right, so this is how things tend to work. We do a discovery call with you first. We've kind of got that covered today because we've done a discovery webinar instead. Then you come for a strategy call. So we've kind of covered some of this already today. When we go through strategy 1, we go through the training platform. So I've showed you that today. We talk about the live training. So I've talked about that with you today. We go through all of the ongoing support, such as your online practitioner platform. We look at the NLP4Kids websites and your profile page. We've done all of that today as well. Then we get you booked in to speak with one of our current licensed practitioners. You are always very welcome to organize that for yourselves, because you've seen their profile pages are online. So you've got their phone numbers there. You can drop them a WhatsApp message and say, I've been to a discovery webinar. I'm a bit nervous, or I've got a question and Gemma's just going to say nice things, so I want to hear it from you, or you live near me, what's it like? You know, all of those sorts of things. You just reach out to them. You know, we can set this up for you, or you can do it yourselves independently if that makes you more comfortable. Normally then we would move to strategy call number 2. And that's where we go through the profit planner, which I've shared with you briefly there today. And we go into some detail about our business success guarantee. So there are some clauses, if you like, around the business success guarantee. For example, you need to have your calendar set up. Otherwise, we can't book the clients in. And you need to have availability for us to book them in. Otherwise, we won't be able to fulfill the 5 leads in 3 months. So you need to have adequate time available for us to get clients booked in. So all of that's detailed in the guarantee that comes with it. The final stage is that you have your licensee selection interview with me, which is where I get to ask you any other questions that we've maybe not got covered elsewhere already, just to do a sort of final suitability assessment and also a little bit of personality profiling on my side as well. And then the last thing we need to do is to get any remaining questions and answers answered, talk about which training dates you're attending, and get you organized for making payment and getting started so we can send everything out to you. Once you have made payment for training, you have got your manual will be out in the post to you within typically 10 days as an absolute maximum. You'll get the tracking code so you know when it's arriving. All of your online platform access for your training and assessments, you will get access to immediately. So you'll get that straight away. You can get your teeth in as soon as you've made payment. Your assessments will get marked periodically, but certainly prior to your training, you will have the results of your assessments so far. So you know if you need to hop back into the platform and repeat any of the questions, or, you know, give something a second shot. And then, yeah, you need to just let us know which training dates you are planning on attending. And that is a wrap. So, is there anything in the final 2 minutes before we wrap it up for today that you wanted to add, ask, or mention about what I have covered with you during this webinar? Is there anything? I'm going to count back from 10 down to 0 and also have a drink because my throat is throbbing. Yeah, if there's anything else that you want to know, speak now or forever, whatever it is. Speak now, forever, hold your peace. I think it's that, isn't it? You are very welcome, Liz. Liz, I recognise your name. I thought, have we spoken before? Or have I just seen your name in the database so many times? You've been on our database for like 1,000,000 years or something. I definitely know your name. And Gassan, you kind of came in really at the last minute there. I feel that you've missed quite a lot of the content here today. We've spoken before. Wonderful. Well, I hope we get to speak again soon. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. We will send you out a link to this recording. If you want to go back and watch again, then you are very welcome to do so. The final thing, let me just pop this over to you. Let me see, where is Marie's discovery calls? If you would like to have a further chat, get yourself booked in just there. Let me send that to everyone. There you go. So click that now. So you've got the tab open. You don't need to fill it in tonight, but that will get you booked in for a call with my colleague Marie. So she'll be able to fill in any gaps that I've not been able to fill in this evening. And I think that's everything. All right, thank you so much for being here this evening, and hopefully I will speak to you all again very soon. All right, bye.